Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a great privilege to actually talk in front of my home country. Usually it's on different places on the planet, and it's always a great privilege to be in your backyard. Thank you, Ross, for inviting me, and it's also a great privilege to be part of this worldwide event. And I'm hoping that I can elucidate your minds about what ugliness is or isn't or never was. Yeah, maybe the word is never was. You see, you always have to start somewhere with these talks. Today, I'm burdened with the word ugly. The word ugly. So what do? What's the first step if you're giving a talk like this? Well, you have to be sure of yourself. You have to be standing on firm ground. So what do? You open up the dictionary. Okay, let's open the dictionary. What does this word mean? According to the dictionary. But just remember something. The dictionary isn't objective either. Just remember, there's no objectivity about anything. It's a farce. It's a lie. It's an illusion. There's no objectivity. But I'll throw you words anyway. Because we all like words. Words make us feel comfortable. Words make us feel secure. Words make us feel happy. Words make us allow us to take ourselves away from ourselves. You see, that's the purpose of words to a large degree. The word's all about words. Useless words, hopeless words, defensive words. That's what the world's about. Read the newspapers. Look at the TV. See what you chit and you chat. See what it's about. It's to take you away from yourself. That's the purpose of the words. So let's talk to the dictionary again. Let's go back to the dictionary. Let's hear the words. Unappealing, unpleasant, frightful, frightful. We don't like to be frightened. Yeah, it's okay to be frightened on Halloween. Ha ha ha, Let's be frightened on Halloween. That's official. We can tweak that. We can go to Sampton Mall and look at Halloween costumes. I see something frightful. Oh, now I'm a human being. I'm frightened. Goody gumdrops. Let's go on. Repellent. Ooh, I don't like to be repelled. I'll think about mosquito repellent then. Forget about the real repellent. Offensive. I don't like that either. I want to stay away from things offensive. It might upset my day. I don't like to go too close to the core. Keep me away from the core. The core is not like the place I want to go. I want to stay out there with everybody else. I want to be with you. I don't want to be with me. Let's look at the next word. Because this might be the real word. The real word. Threatening. Ooh, that's the word. Threatening. That's the word. That's the word we want to stay away from. So now let's go to the photographs. Because I was invited here to talk about ugliness. I'm not quite clear now what the word is. I'm going to make you confused too. You're going to walk out here not knowing what the word is also. I'm going to make sure you're confused. I'm going to turn your mind upside down. Don't fall down the stairs. Let's go. Let's go to the pictures now. So, what I'm going to do, because I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm sure you know pictures are mine. Some you know, some you don't know. But I'm also been doing photographs for 50 years of my life. It started way before I came to South Africa in 1982. I've been doing photographs since the mid-60s of civil rights, of Vietnam, of my travels across the world. So it didn't start necessarily in the Outland, but it really started in some ways in South Africa, even though I did the book called Dorps. My reputation here in South Africa started to develop with the project Outland. This was done between 1986 and 94. That's it. That's why you invited me. That's the image. That's the image that penetrates everybody's head here. Probably in most of your people, probably it's in most of your head and it'll stay there. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, they're disabled. Oh, what's wrong with them? They're weird. They're strange. Oh, I don't like what they look like. Oh, he's an exploiter. Mr. Ballen is an exploiter. He took their picture. Who gave him permission? Yeah, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Why is the picture in your head? Why is the picture in your head? Why will this picture never leave your head? That's the answer. That's the question. Why? Yeah, it's not because they're so strange. Maybe it is. They stick in your head because they're your mirror. They're your mirror. They're your mirror. Come from this. You think you're civilized, don't you? Don't you? But you're not. Another one. Pointer. So people say, Mr. Ballen, where did you find this man? He's a strange man. Yeah, he was a prison warder. Yeah, he was a prison warder during the apartheid period here. And I remember his quote. It was the type of quote you do remember. What was the quote? He said to me, Sir, every time I come home at night, I have blood on my hands. I have to wash it off. How did this picture happen? How did it happen? Yeah, you see, my pictures are pure. My pictures are pure. The composition's pure. You can't call my pictures ugly. My pictures are coherent. My pictures are on the money. My pictures get to the core. My pictures can be liberating if you think about them. But what made this picture? That. See, without that, there's no photograph. You take that away, the picture wouldn't make it. You see, if you see that, you see that. Just be aware that the picture is a complex being. Like everything out there is a complex being. You can't put things into one word, screw one word. Things aren't ugly. Things aren't necessarily beautiful. They are what they are. They're multifaceted, multi-layered, beyond words. That's what makes a good artwork. I'm going through my life very fast here. This is the book that Ross talked about. It's called Outland. It was a very famous book. It was done between 95 and 2000. And during this time, my work transcended from the documentary to the aesthetic in many ways. And as Ross mentioned, in April, Biden Press is making a new revised Outland book with 45 unpublished pictures, which for me, it's hard to believe that I missed all these photographs, but I did. Actually quite a nice feeling that I missed them, because then they're coming out new and they're all very good images. Like this one, man drawing chalk faces. You see, what makes the picture? It's not always just the man. It's here, you see that. And I don't know how well you can see up here. And you see that. You see, they're all formal relationships to making the picture, making some sort of statement. It's beyond a word. It's beyond an expression. Draw yourself. Somebody says to you, make a picture of who you are. Yeah, good idea. That should be a contest. That's a good one. Make a picture about who you are. Yeah, try that for a theme. See how well you do with that one. You might come up with nothing on the paper. Brian and his pet pig. Ooh, ah, ee. Man looks like pig. Ooh, ah, ee. Municipality. Pig is not allowed in house. Pig is not allowed in neighborhood. Take pig to slaughterhouse. Bye-bye, pig. Don't break the rules. Yeah, but why is the pig ugly? Why is the pig disturbing? The pig's intelligent. It's more intelligent than a dog. Why is the pig thrown out into the slaughterhouse? Why isn't the pig allowed in the backyard? Puppy between feet. Ooh, dirty feet. I don't like them. Better go to a pedicurist. What about him, you see? Not so ugly. Newborn baby. Isn't there something interesting about, oh, what does this look like? Mommy, huh? Mommy. What does this like? Baby coming from mommy. Oh, now I understand. More interesting. Now, not ugly. Interesting. Yeah. See, you learned something already. You broke through your mind a bit. You broke through your defenses a bit. You let go a little bit. So maybe you're becoming a little bit more enlightened. You see. Cat catcher. Ooh, awful. Poor animal. Poor animal. I don't like this. I'm going to go out to eat and have sushi. What about the poor tuna? What about this? You see that? You see that? See the faces. See the dots on the wall and the dots on the shirt. You see the shadows. Maybe Mr. Ballen here is making a statement. Not so, now I don't know what to say. Yeah, poor cat, but ooh, man looks like the cat. Who's who? Tommy Sampson in a mask. He's white man, he looks old and he looks sick. Young boy. Who's ugly? What's the picture about? Not so necessarily about ugly white man, good-looking black boy. Maybe something, saying something more again. Shadow Chamber. The next book I did was called Shadow Chamber, between 2000 and 2004. All these books were done around Johannesburg. Oh, look at this one. I don't like this. I don't like this. This is an insult to my religion. Ah, God. Yeah, but what is God? God is everything. So what's wrong with God being that? So, why if God is everything, why can't God be that? Ah, that's interesting. That's maybe a possibility. But how can God be looking like this? God is everything. Oh, and what about the photography here? See how smart you are. If you go G-O-D, what do you get if you spell it backwards? Dog. And what's the dog's eyes look like? God. And what happens if you look at the form of the dog? Boing, 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 boing. That's clever, Mr. Ballen. Just remember, just remember, just remember. See, every picture here is faster than you can blink. Just remember that. And every time I push the button, it's another reality. So you think, photography is so simple. No, it's very, very, very difficult. There's no reality, and every time I create another, push the button, there's another reality. There's multiple realities. Every time I push the button, the picture says something else. And the picture that gets closest to the so-called core, that's the one I choose. Oh, he's bony. Maybe he should go to Planet Fitness. Maybe he needs protein shaking. And what about this? Ooh, dirty feet, beautiful bird. Dirty feet, beautiful bird. But don't you feel like there's something common between the feet and the bird? Don't you feel there's a relationship there? Ooh, cockroach. Kitchen counter, this is called. See, I'm sorry, it's hard to see the titles here. This is called kitchen counter. By the way, another challenge, Ross. Let's see who can take the best roach picture over the next month. See how that'll liberate you. That's one of the hardest jobs you can find as a photographer. Roaches come out at night, they're fast and they don't like being photographed. And they're smart and they'll survive the species. They will survive us. I can't put money on it because if I could put money on it, I would bet every cent I have. Roaches will survive the species here. Ooh, look at this, man on the floor, all dirty. But you see that there's something beautiful here. So again, what I'm trying to say is that you can't label the pictures this or that. They're mixtures, like reality itself. Boarding house. This was another book that I did, 2008 to 2004 to 2008, on the eastern side of the city. This was the cover to the boarding house book. But you know, where does this picture come together? What's the most important thing in this picture? You see the dog's eyes. That's where the dog's eyes go white, and that ties up with this, ties up with that. So it's when that dog's eyes go white, the picture comes together. When the eyeball changes, there's no photograph. There's no photograph. Just, you understand that. These pictures are made up of thousands and thousands of decisions, not one. It all culminates in pushing the button. But to get there, I have to go through thousands and thousands of yes, no, maybe, yes, no, maybe, to get there. It's a multi-dimensional experience to get there. It requires an expanded photographic consciousness to get there. It just doesn't happen. There's no accidents in photography. There's no accidents for me. Ooh, dead bird. You see the form of this and the form of that. That's why it comes together. Pathos. Sad. Ooh. I don't like sad. Yeah. You don't like sad, do you? Pathos is a good word. We rarely hear it in the English language anymore. I studied Latin. It was like a Latin Greek word. Pathos. That's a very important word. You should look it up in the dictionary. It means eternal pain. Eternal pain. Sad. We're all sad. We all have eternal pain. We're here temporarily. That gives us eternal pain. Ooh, I don't like that. That's ugly. There's another rat. Rats. I work with rats a lot. Ooh, rat. Ooh, ugly. No. Rats, like cockroaches, will survive the species. They're bright, they're cunning, they're smart, they're multidimensional. You cannot put a rat in a box and say a rat is a rat. Ugly is a very, very derogatory term for a rat. What would you think of if a rat thinks you're ugly? And why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he? Good question. The species is quite ugly, very destructive, very destructive, very ugly. Take a plane over most places on the planet and you'll see the scars. They're everywhere. This is my last book, although as Ross said, I'm working on like 6 books now, but this is the last one that's published. And I can, there are a few copies in the back. And this one is called Liberation. See, in these pictures, in Asylum and the Birds, all the photographs in this book had birds in it. So the issue is the symbol of the birds in relationship to the place, the Roger Ballen place, the Balleness place. So you have to try to better understand this metaphor between the metaphor of a bird and the metaphor of the place. This one's called Omen. I'm sorry I'm not giving the titles because I know this is a short talk. Omen. Death, bed. You see, that's a real hand here. There's the bird. So just as an interesting comment, it took me about it, because my pictures, I don't necessarily can explain them so easily, and I have to come to terms with them sometimes. So this picture was in my head for a long time. I was trying to figure out why does this picture really actually make visual sense? Why does it make visual sense? Why? Well, what does a bird come from? An egg. What does this look like? An egg. In some way. Visually. So formally like the egg. Descent. Ooh, this is a scary one. This will give me nightmares. Good. A lot of people say, Mr. Ballen, your pictures give me nightmares. Great. That's exactly what you need. Don't go to a psychiatrist. Go look at my pictures and have a nightmare and reflect on the nightmare. Good. Good idea. Memento Mori. This is, I think, quite a great photograph. You see, my pictures, as you can quickly see, have evolved from being somewhat documentary to developing into my own aesthetic. And in this aesthetic, there are aspects of drawing. See, this is a drawing. There's aspect of sculpture and installation making and photography. I mean, photography is about the instant, capturing the moment in so many ways. And so these pictures have become an integration of photography, installation making, sculpture, drawing, and they're transformed through these medias, through the camera. I only take black and white photography. I only use film, so I don't do color. And I've been using the same camera for 32 years. Relinquished. This is like, you just got to realize, these shots of fast, fast, fast. I don't stage things. I don't use Photoshop. This is like a shot, fast, capturing the moment. And then you have to make the relationship between this and that. It's not a simple one again. It's not one you can just call this or call that. Full location. See the bird here. The drawings, the sculpture, the photography. And that's, I think, the last picture. I don't know why we came back to liberation again. And so, you'll hear it once again. You'll hear it once again. You'll see it in the film, because the next thing I'll show you is the Asylum of the Birds video, which I did with the book. It's about a 5-minute video that was on YouTube a number of months ago, still is. And I made the comment, and I think perhaps I should conclude with the comment, which is, the light comes from the dark. So just be careful about the word ugliness. Just remember, when you think about the word, that it's not a word that you're using to block one part of the mind from the other part of the mind. Thank you.
My name is Roger Ballen. I'm a photographic artist living in Johannesburg, South Africa. For the past 6 years, I've been working on a project, Asylum of the Birds. I'm fascinated by birds. They link the heavens to the earth. On my way to the asylum house, I'll often stop at witch doctor markets, scrap yards, and pawn shops at various corners of the city in search of odds and ends that I can use in my photographs or provide for those in need. The locations I work in are unsafe, so one has to have a way with people to survive in this business. The Asylum of the Birds house is surrounded by squatter camps, mine dumps, and abandoned fields. When I arrive at the asylum and pass through the doors, I enter another universe, a world haunting and complex, bordering on dreams and reality. A place in which birds and other animals mingle with its human inhabitants. Yanni, where are you? Oh. Is that you, Yanni? No.
Hello.
We go and take some pictures soon. Finish your bath and then we can take some pictures. Okay, see you soon. Okay, goodbye, Yanni. We go take some pictures soon.
Okay.
You got to finish your bath first. Photographing birds has been a challenge. They move incessantly, get nervous at the click of the camera, and fly in different directions. They do not trust humans, and one cannot fathom what goes through their minds. Give them instructions or expect them to be interested in being photographed.
That's great. Thanks.
Archetypal symbols from the deeper levels of the human subconscious pervade my photographs. This place is untamable. It has its own rules and functions according to its own laws. When I create photographs, I often travel deep into my own interior, a place where dreams and many of my images originate. I see my photographs as mirrors, reflectors, connectors that challenge the mind.
Dra masker sodat ons nie ons gesigte kan brand nie. Ja. Nou sê.
Bye. Great seeing you guys. I hope to come by soon again. Take care of yourselves. Have a good evening. Hope to see you guys next week sometime. Be well. Take care. Bye. See you soon. Take care. Be well. The light comes from the dark.
Hello. Well, maybe but this works a little bit better than that. Sorry about that. But if you want to see the film, you can see it on YouTube. It's called Asylum of the Birds. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Feel free.
What camera is referred to your camera?
It's a Rolleiflex 6x6 single lens rolling. I use T-Mex film right now. I guess before that I used Plus X and different Ilford films, but now it's mostly T-Mex 400. Yeah.
You have a dead bird collection, like a fridge full of dead birds at home. Where do you find the birds?
Yeah, I have we've asked the church here to create an official burial ground. And each bird has a different religious, memorial on it. Yeah.
How do you get the trust with the people you work with? And how do you conceptualize the whole thing?
Yeah. The first thing is people normally say, well, how do you work with these people? The first thing is I've been working with these people nearly all my life. If you look at some of my early work, in the 60s I've been working with the same type of people. So I have a show now in Germany and a few other places. It's called Roger Ballen Theater of the Absurd. And in 1972 I made a film about somebody that's like my people that I work with now. So that's what I've been doing my whole life, and I get along with the people well. Some of my best friends, I think nearly all my best friends are the people I work with, and over the years, especially after Outland in South Africa, I was accused endlessly of this and that, but I have to live with myself, and I really can look anybody straight in the eye, and say, look, nearly everybody I worked with in the last 30 years likes Roger Ballen. And nearly anybody you ask that I photographed over the years, you ask them about Roger Ballen, and I'm sure, and I'm not a conceited person, but I'm confident about what I say, they'll all say good things about Roger Ballen. Because I work with them and I don't necessarily just go in and out and take photographs. I don't try to make fun of people. It's not my idea. So it's a relationship, and the people have to get something out of this and I get something out of it. So I don't see my photographs as being a one-way street. And it's easy for somebody to look up here and say, oh, did he make him do this, and what do the people think, and what do the people do with the photographs, and have they seen the photographs? Yeah, these are all questions, but you see, you can't really get to the reality behind me and the people because you're not there. So I have to live with myself, and I can live with myself. And so the issue, the next question is, how do you create these pictures? Yeah, this is a nearly impossible question because your mind is so complicated. It's so complicated. This is a science and an art. And every time I take a picture, I start with nothing. I have no ideas about what I'm doing. I don't think about what I'm going to do. I just work with this situation and create these pictures. And if you try to read about creativity, it's like talking about ugliness. You get nowhere actually after a while. The creative mind, the mind is impossible to really understand how it gets from point A to point Z. It's impossible. It's just, but I've been doing this a long time, so I've created a foundation, and I keep building foundations to what I do. And that's how the work develops. It's not just starting like a lot of universities, they start with the abstract. But I feel you have to start with the basic stuff, the foundation, which is, basic documentary, simple photographs, and then you build up to the more abstract.
You were telling me earlier about your new book.
Yeah. The next book, you can see a few of the photographs in the Asylum of the Birds book, the last 3 pictures. They're like drawings, they're very strange drawings, they feel like ghostly drawings. And they're all photographs. I didn't do any Photoshop, I don't work on Photoshop. And they were taken in a certain way with a certain technique, and they feel very strange and very surreal. My work has become very surreal in many ways. But there's always an aspect of feeling of the documentarian. And these pictures really are, they're almost paintings in their own way. And if you look at the transition of the work, you can see a very direct line over the decades from being more of a, as I said a few times, being somewhat documentary to the point where I'm integrating various other medias through photography. So you couldn't create the pictures that I take, generally speaking, if you're just trained in drawing. See, I'm trained in photography. And it took me like till I was nearly 50 years old to be able to figure out how to integrate other mediums through photography. But it's not a simple, easy issue. It's not something you just can walk into and do. I wouldn't think.
I think Ross mentioned that you're a geologist before.
Yeah.
In what ways did geology influence your photography? You were kind of learning about the earth,
Yeah.
and kind of how ancient, or was it just a passing job?
Well, when I look back upon it, what did geology do for me? Well, I think the most important thing, if you end up looking at it, first of all, I like the profession. So working as a geologist to me was actually inspiring, because I was in nature and I was dealing with, in a way, the formation of the earth and the universe. So it did have an inspirational view, but inspiration doesn't make photographs. I can be inspired and I walk into a room, what am I going to do? Well, what am I going to do here? I could have been inspired by looking at the moon last night, but when I come into this room, what am I going to do with the moon in this room? So, that's the issue. But I think from a practical point of view, which is very crucial to being an artist like myself, being a artist photographer, you have more chance of being a success selling bananas on the street than becoming a well-known artist photographer. But I'm being serious. So like you're competing against, your odds are so poor, so poor. So unless you're really passionate about what you do and disciplined about what you do, there's like almost no chance, especially if you're living in South Africa, because it's not a big collector base. So the thing that geology did, it subsidized my art for like 30 years. And I was my own boss for 30 years. So I worked and worked and worked. I wasn't sitting in a bank or in a law firm. I was combining my monetary profession with my passion. And it allowed me to evolve to the point where my pictures started to sell and I could do less geology, but it didn't mean I didn't like geology, but it subsidized this passion. And I think it's, if any of you are upcoming artists, I see there might be students here, I really would say, if you want to be serious about this, and being serious means saying, yeah, I think I'm going to do this the rest of my life. Because, every hour, every day, every week, every month, you learn something and you got to try to impart your understanding into those pictures. It's not about trying to please the marketplace and produce something that's cool, nifty, and maybe saleable. It's about expressing your identity through your work. And so, it has to be geared towards that. I think if you're going to produce work that has a lasting effect, it doesn't mean it might not sell at the Market Theater or something like this, because people think it's cool to do this or do that, but the work probably won't last. You shouldn't say anything of any value. So this is a very important thing to think about if you want to do this as a long-term career. You really got to find some balance. That'd be my personal, it's my personal belief, and it's quite clear to me that it's a correct belief.
One more question.
No.
I know you've moved away from documenting strictly, but would you ever imagine traveling your birth country and working with people in rural?
No. I think, I'm going to be 65 next year.
Yeah.
This year, what am I saying already? This year, in 3 months I'll be 65. And they won't even give me a Social Security payment in my home country. So,
Birth country. I'm sure this is your birth country.
No, the thing is life moves on, and I have to focus on things I can do, what are important to me, not get myself into these diversions that actually end up never happening. So I'm involved in a lot of projects, as I said, 6 books now, and they all have very specific qualities about them. They all tie up my career and also are part of my evolution, and I have to concentrate on these things. When things come up, they'll come up, but I doubt, honestly, if my back's pretty sore these days, I'm going to drive across the country like the old days.
Yeah. I just mean it's interesting because there is a notion of ugliness being the other, and the other actually being common.
The other is
the
you.
world.
Just remember what I say.
Yeah,
the other is you.
But no.